Today, we are discussing Amazon product research and why this is the thing that matters most in your Amazon journey. As always, I am Nick.
I'm Jace.
And welcome to the Demand Gen Daily Podcast. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, ask us questions. We answer them. Today, Amazon product research. Why this is the thing that matters most. Jace, please walk us through this.
Yeah, hard to overstate how important product selection is and product research is. You want to launch a product that's going to succeed. And what I found was the biggest eye opener is that generally people who are new at this or in the earlier stages, they become emotionally attached to a product idea. They've romanticized a certain idea of a product and they're very attached to it. And they know their product's going to see because I have the best product. You'll hear that. My product should see, but my product's better. Okay, you may think it's better, but it's a subjective thing. And frankly, a lot of people in the buying community may not care that yours is better. I tried to convince my mother that she shouldn't spend 3 times the amount on an Apple iPad. She should go for a $400 Samsung, which is going to do everything the iPad does. But no, she's going for the iPad. So product selection. Some obvious things that I know people already know. You want to choose a product that has reasonable demand, rising demand. You've checked on Google Trends, you've gone on Helium 10 and Jungle Scout. You've seen the sales velocity within a product category gradually increase over time with relatively fewer competitors. Supply and demand all comes down to supply and demand. Everyone knows that. Here's the problem that most people run into. They go into product categories where they're trying to find that niche within a niche, forgetting that there are whole broad categories that are just far less competitive. You're going to try and sell a new ashwagandha or vitamin D supplement. You are entering the mafia of mafias, okay? If you're trying to sell some sort of electronic device, a USB Type-C adapter or whatever, you are entering the shark of sharks. I cannot tell you how scary it is. We talked about in the previous one about malicious positive reviews, right? People will buy positive reviews on your listing so that Amazon flags it and shuts down your account completely. And oftentimes you have no recourse, none, right? Scary stuff. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. Go for a product category that's just generally less competitive. That's an obvious thing. But here's some of the non-obvious things. You want to do some research within a product category, see all the top 10 product category leaders of a category that you've identified is a good category for you. You've got some expertise or knowledge, you've got some manufacturing sources possibly. But before you actually put money down for prototypes and actual product development, you want to know how many of those top 10 sellers are Chinese based. Not necessarily Chinese, but Chinese based. They're based in China. Why does that matter? Because a Chinese based seller is going to have an inherent price and manufacturing advantage that you just can't compete with in the long term. You can't compete with them primarily on price. They can always go lower and they can do it for a longer period of time than you can. And they can shut down their listing for whatever reason and start a new one much quicker than you can, much cheaper than you can, right? So if, the top 5 sellers are doing really well and 4 of them are Chinese based and they're all selling sub $40 products, maybe unless you have some sort of other inherent advantage over them, maybe don't go in that category. So that matters a lot. And people talk about you're anti-Chinese. I'm absolutely not Chinese. My wife is Chinese. I married a whole Chinese family. But the reality is they have an advantage that we don't here in the West. We have advantages that they don't, and we'll talk about that. We have massive advantages and we need to leverage those. But don't go into our product category where you're going to be muscled by price indefinitely, is my recommendation, okay? So other things, you want to research all the top 10 product category leaders and see who has a significant content marketing advantage, right? So they've been building email lists and Facebook groups for the past 10 years. They have a massive audience. They've got contests and promotions. They've got a cartel of influencers all reviewing and promoting their products. Do you want to go head to head with them? Maybe not. If you're going to do it, know what you're getting yourself into. So I want to assess not just the sales volume of those top 10 sellers on Amazon. I want to know what they're doing off of Amazon. where they're from, what kind of content marketing and ad strategies they have, so that when I do go into that competitive arena, I'm doing so with my eyes wide open. So some other really basic things. There's a massive advantage if you choose a product that has very clear visual distinction from the competitors. So an example I really like to use is a client I had that sold bicycle helmets. Almost every bicycle helmet made in the past 25 years looks the same. It's this egg-shaped thing, right? It goes on top of your head. It's hard shelled. It goes above your ears. It's got the straps coming on here. And you can have different designs, maybe slightly different shapes. But when you look at the hero shots, that's the first product image for all bicycle helmets on Amazon. They all have the same shape with a white background, slightly different colors. Hard to distinguish. Unless there's a massive brand name, hard to distinguish. This bicycle helmet was the ones they used to use in like in the 90s in the Tour de France in Europe, where it's the soft shelled helmets. They're lighter, they're more breathable, that kind of stuff. But they're a completely different shape. You see the silhouette on the hero shot, it immediately looks different. And they were selling these bicycle helmets, but they were selling them as not just bicycle helmets, but like rugby helmets, cross helmets. It was just like anytime you're doing something, you might bump your head, wear this because it's more athletic, it's breathable, it's lighter, blah, blah, blah. But you could see such a distinction of how and why it was different right away from the hero shot. Because remember, when people search a keyword, they go bicycle helmets or lacrosse helmets on Amazon. They scan the search results in maybe 7 seconds before they make a decision on which listing to click on. If your hero shot, that's the first product image, has a very clear visual distinction, you have this baked in advantage, right? So here's an example. When people go into supplement categories and they're using a white bottle, I have one here, I have magnesium right now. Right? Everyone has the white bottle, same shape, same color. And when you're buying magnesium, the top 20 all look like the same damn product, right? Why not do a different color? You can have red, you could have blue, you could have purple. Often you can't spend the money to create a different shape, and that's fine, but you could have different colors. Why do you all go for white or off-white? They all do, right? Basic marketing stuff that people just don't do. They think they know, but they don't actually execute very well. Make sure that your product is visually distinctive from your competitors.
Yeah, and I guess looking at the competitive landscape that you're trying to compete in, it's like, how distinctive are the products? Can we create an advantage through our brand in this product category? Because some product categories could have very competitive brands in that space as well.
Yeah. And here's the thing. The number one takeaway here is that like everybody knows grade 10 business class will teach you the importance of supply and demand and having a unique selling feature. I just think that the vast majority of people that I speak to, when they tell me what is their advantage, no one really cares. Only they care because they're emotionally attached to the product. So I had a client once who was selling bamboo toothbrushes. Okay. Great category, very profitable on Amazon, very alternative, eco-friendly products, very big on Amazon. And his big thing was two things. One, it was a freestanding toothbrush, meaning you could stand it up on your desk and it would stay upright. I don't give a flying hoot standalone. I don't care. But he thought that this was the thing, right? Now,
Yeah,
the other
yeah.
thing, his second feature, he really had a good feature. Knowing his audience, you could, with the packaging, there was like the shipping information on the packaging. As long as you put postage on it, you could send it back to him and he would dispose of it in an environmentally friendly way. He was pulling the the brushes out, disposing them, decomposing the bamboo, blah, blah, blah. Awesome. Great. The problem was the listing never really conveyed that distinction in an effective way, because it's a great feature, but God, I got to keep people on a listing quite a while to explain to them what that is, how it works, how it benefits, blah, blah, blah. Most people do not care about what you think they care about. And I know people laugh about the freestanding toothbrush. That's why I like to use that example. But I would say 85% of people, I was just on a sales call, I told you about it this week, with a client who was explaining to me that they understood their audience and they understood what they care about. But when you looked at their content, their audience didn't give a flying hoot about their product. Like they don't care about what you think they care about, right?
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing when it comes to product research, for sure.
Absolutely. Okay. If you haven't watched the rest of our series on Amazon, please go back and watch some of it. We have some upcoming episodes around Amazon. Next show, product launches. How to give yourself the best chance of success on Amazon. Until next time.